I found a hack for controlling your emotions that changes everything. The hack is called the 90-second rule. Hey guys, my name's Dr. Mark Shankman, oral surgeon, CEO, entrepreneur, founder of Rentec Global Solution, here to provide you some value and to change the world one video at a time. This is part 2 of a series of 3-part video. So if you haven't seen part 1, it's the 6-second rule. Go back, check that out before jumping onto this one. Okay, the 90-second rule. What is it? How does it work? Here we go. What happens when someone triggers you is you not only get a mental response, but you get a biophysical, a chemical response in your body. So what happens is that triggering event releases the stress hormones of adrenaline and cortisol, which create a physiologic response in the body. That physiologic response is increased heart rate, increased sweating, shallow breathing, all the things that kind of prepare you in the olden days for fight or flight, protecting yourself, getting away from a predator, hunting, doing all the things that we needed to do back then to survive. However, now our minds have somewhat hijacked that because our safety isn't at risk every day like it was in olden times, when we were, Cro-Magnon man, that sort of thing. So what the 90-second rule says is that when you get that triggering response and those stress hormones are released, it takes about 90 seconds before that'll dissipate on its own and the emotional response will be gone. Now, if the emotional response lasts for longer than 90 seconds, what that means is you're focusing on it mentally, re-triggering those same events occurring in your body, and it's simply a matter of your thought process and your mental attitude toward what happened. You're reliving that moment over and over and over again that keeps that biophysical response active. So the hack is basically to allow that 90 seconds to pass, allow that physiologic response to dull, to dissipate, to go away on its own, and then you can react rationally and you can think more clearly, and you can affect the way that you're responding to that stimulus. Okay, so let's talk about the 90-second rule in an actual instance that could potentially happen to you. So let's say that you're driving along and someone cuts you off. Now, the 90-second rule says that when you get triggered by that event, what's going to happen is you're going to get that adrenaline rush, you're going to get the fight or flight response. But if you actually focus and wait that 90 seconds, that emotional response is going to dissipate and you're going to be able to get through that 90 seconds without retaliating or taking actions that you may wish you could take back. Now, if you find yourself actually still fired up and worked up over that 90-second time period, what that means is your mind is reliving and replaying that event over and over and over again in your mind. You have to actually consciously think to not allow that conscious thought to relive that moment, and then the physiologic response will dissipate. But it requires conscious thought. It requires you saying to yourself, I'm not going to relive this moment. I'm going to allow this 90 seconds to pass by. The physiologic response will dissipate, and then I can go about my business. I can continue to my drive in a very calm and compassionate manner. So the 90-second rule can really have a big impact on how you perceive things and your responses to those things. Instead of flipping that guy off, you can actually realize that in the grand scheme of things, what did you have to do? You had to brake a little bit. Okay, fine. Nothing came of it. Nothing happened. And you can still proceed. You can still live your life as if nothing ever happened and not be stressed out, not get to work, not rambling on about how this person cut you off and they were so rude and they were so ignorant and then the response that they had to you when you got fired up and flipped them off. So it can have a profound impact on the rest of your day. So stay tuned for part 3, where we're going to talk about the interplay between the 6-second rule and the 90-second rule and how you can use both to really control your behavior and allow your mind and your body to be working together and synchronously and be able to live the life that you always wanted to live.